got a question for you, and we've hung out hours, and I've never asked you this, because I've always been like, so many people have probably asked you this, but like, what did you learn from Kobe? If you had to break it down in a small, like, little.
Yeah, I mean, right off the rap, like, he was saying stuff to me at points that like went over my head. I'm young, bro, I'm 18. So like, but like something I remember him saying was, figure out what you want to do when you done playing now. The sooner, the better.
Wow. Do
that while you're playing, because when you're done playing, they ain't gonna care no more. So stuff along those lines all the time. And then it was real. Like, he would come back, shout out RL, he would be like, 2-4 wanted to see you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I come to his room, he'd be like, I just left the dinner with the CEO of such and such. I'm working on it now. And it was always those lines, and I'm just like, he's like, y'all worrying about where y'all gonna go next, what vibe y'all gonna hang out at. Do that now, figure that's gonna be there forever. And I always remember that. And I always tell the story of like, when it comes to film and like appreciating the game and the greats, like never taking a day off. I sat next to him on the plane, and he would have his phone, like, he was always like that. And I'm like, I don't know what the heck he doing, but he'd be like, I'm like, dang, what the heck is he doing? One day he'd do something, and all right, I see he watching film, he watching highlights. So this whole time he's tuned to what's going, his highlights.
Yeah.
So I asked him, I'm like, you really watching your film right now? He's like, tuned in, yeah, all of it, every time, all the time, straight to my. And he was no emotion. He would look at you straight up, like, yep, all the time, every day, any day.
That's
sleep.
That's fire.
And I noticed that like that film shit is real. So
yeah.
As far as like what I learned from him, I just watched him. I learned how he moved, how he walked, how he talked, his presence, like it was real.
Legendary.
I mean, he was one of the GOATs. I think when people talk about the greatest of all time, it's GOATs of all time. Like, there's so many GOATs that, like,
for sure,
if you knew what they went through to get to where they at, you would respect them even more.
Facts.
And some of them won't even share what they went through and what they had to do, and like they don't know how to express it and share it. But like,
facts.
They put in way more hours than the regular. They thought through.
You're right about that. They don't know how to express it.
They don't know how to express it. They just grind it, or they just had some God-given ability that they just knew how to keep feeding. And it's like there's so many of them. It ain't just. It's levels to it too. Like,
for sure,
bro. Like, there's high school GOATs, bro.
For sure, that didn't. You know,
it's
shout out to Isaiah Briscoe.
Bro.
So, like,
bro, Britty, bro. Goat. Shout out Britty, bro. Like, when I tell you he was one of the first dudes that I looked at and I was like, you can't judge a book by its cover on the court, bro. Because he was a big dude that would had you so shifty and like then hit you with a and you gone. He don't spin, act like he gonna shoot, don't carry, throw it up. I'm like, bro. And then Isaiah Whitehead, like them two dudes like out of New York, I'm like, bro.
For sure.
If that's what I gotta be to be where I'm trying to go, like, they got it. You know what I mean? Like I said, high school, and Britty would have went to a different college. He would have went somewhere. He went to the wrong college.
Why do you think New York? So you had Sebastian. Like right now, there's Cole Anthony, Mo Bamba.
Yeah. What was your question though?
Why? How come you think that New York City isn't breeding NBA players lately? Over the last few, maybe 5 to 7 years, where you look at Seattle or Houston,
California,
like they are.
That's a tricky one.
It is, right? Do you think it's the hype and how you've kind of witnessed? Like, do you think it's too much?
I think it's along the lines of brand of basketball, like the style of play. Like all those areas you just named, there's a freedom and style, like a floating, like he's different, but he can still put it in like he can hoop. New York, it all kind of simulates the same thing, like in a style, like almost an over dribble. You know what I mean? Almost like a not the best shooter. You know what I mean? Almost like a gonna be tough. You know what I mean? Like, so you kind of know what you're getting. And I ain't shitting on nobody. I just think that style is probably not translating as well to the NBA.
And to me, something alarming is, so you know, the NBA draft the last 4 years, it's been 45% international. So
Oh,
the
yes.
NBA is going away from. So do you think that there's a player development issue in the United States? Do you think there's too many games? Do you think there's, because that's a whole nother topic. That
Once again, I think that's brand of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Like the European side of things is more technical, more play style, more like coaches are coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Here, like a player can make a coach's career. A player can get a coach a college job that he coached AAU his whole life.
For sure.
Now he's a college coach.
For sure.
He could. I'm just saying, like,
No,
it just
you're right.
I feel like their group, the coaches probably are grinding here too. Like, I'm not talking about the coaches;
Mm-hmm.
they ain't doing it. I'm just saying, like, the product is a style that, like, I think goes way back into tradition. Here is like it's a new style,
For sure.
a new wave of coaches like doing it their own way.
For sure.
And it's like a melting pot of just different brands. So
Think about that a lot.
I think you two would know more than me, but one thing that I feel like I notice is that the European kids that come over here, they're more polished from a basketball standpoint versus the kids that come here. They maybe need a couple more years.
because they gotta learn how to play basketball. They're not as athletic. They have to learn how to play basketball. We have athleticism that we can skip steps to learning how to play basketball. So then when you meet that at the top, the player that's been learning how to play basketball this whole time, and this guy that's been relying on athleticism and just skipping steps, but athleticism got him like right here, at some point it's gonna even out when that, it has to, bro. Law of averages, right? That's what I think. I just think this,
No, you're right.
they have to learn how to play. We can skip steps because of that athleticism.
And I mean, I think we saw it this year in the Olympics too. Like a lot of other countries and a lot of other places in the world are
They
playing
coming.
basketball that
European
For sure.
are
They
really
coming,
talented.
bro.
You know,
For sure.
like
For
that. I mean, you look at the roster we put out there. That could be one of the best rosters ever assembled on a basketball court.
Yeah.
And they had battles, and it's not saying that team wasn't good. That team was as good as it looks. But there's just
1000%.
other countries are catching up from a basketball standpoint.
For sure.
1000%.
So that's crazy.